My people, don't carry another one come today, still on the Niger matter. But today video wan show us people wey get interest for wetin dey play for Niger. We have the Russian one side, we have the Americans one side, we get the British and we get the French. Already we know say Russia no dey happy for NATO and NATO combine of the Western world. Currently, that fight will be like say e dey happen for Ukraine wan ex ten d to West Africa. Watch this video as e give you details of interest wey join this Niger matter, and make sure say you share am make e enligh ten people around you. Drop comment for wetin you think
And
about this
now let's
video.
turn our attention to the West African nation of Niger. A different type of storm has hit this country, one that could turn it into a battlefield between Russia and the West. I'll explain why in a moment, but first a quick primer. Meet the president of Niger. His name is Mohamed Bazoum. Last week, his presidential guard put him under arrest. Then the military declared they are in charge. Basically, it was a coup. The fourth since the country's independence some 6 decades ago. We covered this last week. But over the past few days, there have been new developments. Other countries have entered the picture. West African nations have issued an ultimatum. They say the president, Bazoum, should be reinstated in 15 days, else they will intervene militarily. The country of Chad is a neighbor of Niger. Their president is visiting. He's talking to the military leaders who pulled off the coup. Meanwhile, the French embassy in Niger has also come under attack. Supporters of the coup threw stones at the embassy. They even tried to start a fire outside the compound and burned the French flag outside the building. What explains this protest? Well, Niger was once a French colony. French forces are still deployed in the country. The protesters want them to leave. They blame France for their problems, for the state of insecurity in Niger, and for the rampant militancy in West Africa. And amid all of this, something very interesting was observed. Listen, look at this in fact. Supporters of the coup were seen carrying Russian flags. You saw the flags, they're very similar to the French flag, the same colors, but the Russian flag has the color blue in the middle. Now, the coup supporters raised the Russian flags outside the French embassy in Niger, and some were even seen chanting, "Russia and long live Putin."
We are not against young people raising the Russian flag. It's because they've seen how certain countries in the region are cooperating with Russia, thinking that there's equal treatment, and that's why they've brought out these flags.
So is Russia supporting the coup in Niger? Is it in lockstep with the country's military? If not the Kremlin directly, what about the Wagner mercenary group? Are they supporting these generals in Niger? So far, there have been mixed signals. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has issued a statement. He has called for a return to constitutional order in Niger. Earlier today, the Kremlin called for restraint from all sides. Russian President Putin said Russia is against coups. And this was yesterday during Russia's Africa summit. But Putin was quick to conflate the situation in Niger with what was happening in Ukraine.
You said, dear colleagues, that we are against coup d'etat. I am in full agreement. We too are against coups d'etat. But the other problem that led to today's crisis is the coup d'etat in Ukraine in 2014. That specifically was an unconstitutional, armed and bloody state coup, which the Western countries actively supported.
It almost sounds like a justification, and Moscow's plea for calm may in fact give time for the military rulers to chalk out their next move. Then there's the Wagner Group. Their chief, Yevgeny Prigozhin, has supported this coup in Niger. An audio message was released on a social account linked to Wagner. And here, Prigozhin called the coup a good thing. He even offered the support of Wagner troops. He said his troops could restore order in the country. Now, it's unclear how closely Wagner forces and Russia are aligned in this. So far, there is no evidence of Wagner troops working in Niger. This is what the US said on Thursday.
To your question about Russia, Putin, I know there's been question about Wagner Group as well. Until now, we have not seen incredible indications of Russian or Wagner involvement.
But Wagner troops are active just across the border in the neighboring country of Mali. It's a country that has seen its own military coup in recent months. And Mali's military junta has also blamed the French for their problems. Last year, they expelled French troops from Mali. They burnt down the French embassy, and they've been working closely with Russia and Wagner ever since. Then we come to another neighbor of Niger, a country called Burkina Faso. It saw the exact same scenario play out, a military coup where France was blamed and the generals aligned with Russia. Niger seems to be going down the same road.
We want them to link cooperation ties with Mali and Burkina, with whom we share the common enemy, to combat the terrorism raging in the Sahel.
Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger. 3 countries, one story. Elected governments ousted on the same pretext, their failure to deal with militancy. The region is also known as the Sahel. It is home to many extremist groups. The ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, they've all been operating here for years. The Sahel region has seen 7 coups in the last 3 years. And with every coup, the country shifts towards Moscow and away from the West. The West in general, and France in particular, become the enemy. Now again, there's nothing suggesting Russia's involvement in the Niger coup yet. But there's no doubt that Moscow benefits from what's happening. It keeps getting new authoritarian allies in West Africa, and this makes the region a new arena for Putin to fight the West.
Thank God for Russia, African nation louds Putin. Putin offers free weapons to Burkina Faso amid Niger coup. Russians arms diplomacy against Western colonizers. Putin has offered free weapons to Burkina Faso amid tensions in neighboring Niger. Burkina Faso's interim president said this during an interview with Sputnik Africa. Ibrahim Traoré spoke about Russian support and said that Putin refuses nothing. Tensions are high after coup in Niger on July 26 saw the elected president ousted. Russia's free weapon offer. Thank God Russia is a country that refuses nothing. Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso interim president, said there are no restrictions, they do not refuse licenses. Russia is also ready to deliver weapons to us for free. In fact, everything we want to buy, Russia agrees to sell to us. This is not the case with other countries. Traoré comments come amid ongoing tensions in Niger, neighbor to Burkina Faso. The military takeover in Niger was condemned by the US and the UNSC. But not everyone is against the coup in Niger and other African nations recently. Burkina Faso and Mali have warned against foreign military intervention in Niger. They have declared that an intervention in Niger would equal war against them too. Niger had been seen by US and allies as the last major counter-terrorism partner. Meanwhile, Russia has comes up as a country that never colonized the continent. Russian flag was seen in the streets of Niger's capital in days after the coup. Kremlin has called for Niger to restore constitutional order as soon as possible. Moscow also has emphasized its role as the top weapons supplier to Africa.